Welcome back. Now, it took the deaths of 20 people, mostly children, for government to finally pay attention. Portfolio committees, the Premier and Transport Minister all descended on Pongola. It followed a horror crash on the N2. But is it too little too late, and will interventions last? eNCA senior reporter Dasen Thathiah compiled this special report.
The N2 highway intersects the small northern KZN town of Pongola. While this in itself is not a major problem, driver behavior on this road is. With the frequency of incidents increasing over the past few years, residents sounded warning bells.
In fact, as early as 26th of August, I sent another tweet directly implicating the trucks to the minister to say, please intervene and do something on the N2 Pongola. We are dying. Almost every day here, we've got an accident that involves trucks, and there's been so many loss of life because of the trucks, and no one seems to be listening to what we are saying. As you mentioned on Twitter, since 2019, I've tweeted to the minister, to the KZN Department of Transport, Sanral, Road Traffic Management, all of them. All my cries fell on deaf ears, and I did warn that something this huge is going to happen.
It did. On the 16th of September, 18 young school children, an assistant teacher, and a van driver paid with their lives. A truck driven by Sibusiso Siyaya crushed the Toyota Hilux, ejecting some occupants and trapping others. He fled the scene. News spread quickly to neighboring villages.
Ukufika kwalezi ndaba sonke sashaqeka kakhulu, angikhulumi ke laba ugogo wabo nomama wabo. Ugogo wabo kwangathi uyahlanya ngoba wasukana ngenyawo awushona le kwabathe cha sekufoniwe phela kwathiwa abakhona le abakwini bayabuka wathi cha nami ngifuna ukuyobona yonke imizi le nakule yaveni le abantu bakhona basuka ngenyawo bawushona le bayobuka ukuthi ngempela yini bengekho sure sonke sibangasho ukuthi ngabe lezi ngane nezela ikhazi kule ngozi.
Mishak Masuku is related to the Simelane family, which lost 5 members, including the driver. Nearby, a young mother is mourning a son, 8-year-old Santiswa Nkosi.
Benginabo abantwana ngoba singabantu bokufuna umsebenzi. Ngahlukana nabo ngolesine ekseni maba esikoleni. Ngolesihlanu ngekhathi vele zokuphuma kwesikole. Ngafonelwa umuntu ongumzala wami oserenkini ePhongolo Madlovu ukuthi angifonele la ekhaya ukuthi ingane zifikile ngoba zuthu ingane zami egibela le transport kodwa ngenhlanhla lo munye wayengagibelanga lelo la. Mangifona la usisesho ukuthi ingane ayikakafiki. Mangiqeda ukudrop ifone aphinde lo afone. Mzala kuthiwani ngithi bathi akakafiki. Ngifonele lo baba ongathi uyangakhela ngoba siyafika kule ndawo. Mangidrop ifone umfana aphinda ngifonele athi mzala konja itransport yabo bekuyiphi ngisho. Avele athi sorry mzala. Ngihlale phansi ngifonele omunye ubaba lo wakha la ekhaya ngithi awuyongibonela lapha ngoba kuseduze ukuthi abantu abamba kanjani. Wavele nje wangithela ngegama elikhulu. Wathi laba abantwana akekho umntwana ophilile. Kodwa ke lo mntwana omdala nginaye nangu yakhala. Athi akanikeze yena ifoni. Wamnika lo mdala. Lo mdala nje wavele wathi mama ngiyambona uSandiswa lapha ya. Uphakamisa izandla kodwa ngikhona ukufika kuye. Ah! Avele wangicacela ukuthi kusho ukuthi vele uSandise wakasekho.
3 days after the accident, Thathiah made his first court appearance. He objected to us filming him, citing safety concerns, since he intended to apply for bail. The court ruled in his favor. The state accuses Thathiah of trying to evade justice.
The accused came on his own to the police station on the 17th, but not
on Saturday.
On Saturday. Mm-hmm. But it was not to hand himself over, Your Worship. It was through investigation by the police that they were able to gather evidence that indeed the person that was before them was the suspect they were looking for.
On the same day Thathiah appeared in the dock, a government delegation visited the area to pass condolences and pledge assistance. They have raised the alarm before. Can you confirm that that has in fact happened, that these have been complaints that have been brought to your attention regarding the danger of this road?
We have not received any complaints. They might have spoken to the local municipalities. We are not sure. We are still going to engage with the local municipalities, but it is only this morning that we are getting to understand what the challenges are in this on this particular road. We were briefed this morning that the normal traffic was 1,000 trucks a day, and that has increased drastically within a matter of months to actually 5,000 trucks a day, which is a huge problem, and it should have rang alarm bells both to the local municipality and districts, and they should have raised the issue with the provincial government and the national government. But that's now water under the bridge. We are here and we are going to have to deal with the situation.
We go back to the start of the war in Ukraine with this exponential increase in the demand for our coal into Europe and to China. And all this is now moving on the roads, which meant literally a threefold increase in the number of trucks coming onto our roads, many of whom are driving dangerously, and we do have very little law enforcement on this entire stretch of the N2, right from Ermelo to Richards Bay.
Channing Pierce has been at the forefront of activism to change the way trucks operate in Pongola.
There were very credible threats that the community wanted to burn some of these trucks in retaliation for what had happened on Friday. In fact, on Friday night, one truck was already burnt on the road. The trucks now are either diverting through Vryheid and going around that way, or through Ulundi, going down through Melmoth.
One of those accidents, and an explosion, was captured on dashcam on Monday. The next day, an oversight visit was conducted in Pongola. One of the criticisms, and I think many people would agree, is that sometimes the government response is very reactive. And in this case, it comes after not just the 20 lives that are lost here, but there have been lives that have been lost before. So it can't be a case of we didn't know. So how do you respond to that criticism that has been coming from some of the residents that we've spoken to?
Well, you see, as an oversight committee, we cannot stand here and play innocent. We believe that we have failed these people in many ways. Because you see, what happened here, we have lost 18 children. But they are saying they've been losing children all the time. They've been losing community members all the time. And now we have to respond like this. So honestly, I do not blame the government. As an oversight committee, we need to come back to this community and even to the chief of the area and the induna of the area, one, to apologize for not listening to the people, but number two, to sit down with them and map out a way forward of how to assist in a situation that we are facing as a government. It's their government, it's their road, they must give a recommendation. If we have to expand these roads, we must do that. If we have to divert these trucks, we must do that, but we believe that something must be done.
They must also have some engagement with the truck owners. Yeah. And one thing that as a community that we want to see We want the leaders to clear their names because there are allegations as to say some of our leadership are owning some percentages of these trucks. That is why they are not paying this attention we believe they should be paying regarding the truck problems. So we expect them to come up with a clear way of how the trucks are going to operate here, starting from where they come from. Because my main concern is that these trucks come very far from Pongola. They come from 300 plus kilometers away from Pongola. But we only discover that the truck are not roadworthy only when they reach Pongola.
Ama-truck asikhathaze kakhulu sesikhulume ngawo kaningi ukuthi ama-truck sekuyini manje ama-truck ngathi awasahambi komunye umgwaqo asihamba la hawu singabi nampendulo esingayithola ngoba ama-truck adrayiva nakabi laba bantu laba bathi uma befika lapho umgwaqo khona uyidabuli kanje bafike bame kanje sihambe kanje uma ngathi manje abasalandelani ngani abasalandelani sibahamba nje thole-ke manje traffic la ngemva kwama-truck senze nje akuhambeki ama-truck avala umgwaqo besinenkinga nje vele yala ma-truck maningi kakhulu asiwazi na ukuthi aqhamukaphi la ma-truck angaka yes kayasebenza-ke ngoba sidla ngendaba yawo ama-truck kodwa manje heyi ayikhona driver nakabi labantu la ngoba bebulela iy'ngane nje iningi ingozi esingayichaza la ukuthi ngedate ethize kwenze ukuthi ngedate ethize kwenze ukuthi ilanga nelanga lama-truck enza imonakalo la emgwaqweni.
Since the accident, and with the newfound attention focused on Pongola, more traffic officers have been spotted. But residents are watching closely to see if the enforcement drive is only temporary. Almost a week after the accident, and 3 years since residents first called for his help, Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula arrived in Pongola.
20 kids die on the road. I don't know that there are no police here. In my expectation, there should have been police here, including that vehicle that brought this accident. Those people should have been apprehended and arrested in this particular road. So I'm not here to defend myself and say, no, this we did. If we did not do anything, I will be the first to say that we did not do anything, and these are the steps that we'll have undertaken.
He released a report on the fatal crash.
The report found that the driver of the articulated truck overtook multiple vehicles. Where this action was prohibited by no overtaking lanes in a dangerous and unlawful manner. This driver recklessly overtook vehicles and drove on the oncoming lane for approximately 1.2 kilometers. These vehicles had to swerve out of the way of the approaching truck. The driver never made any attempt to return to his correct lane, but continued driving against oncoming traffic, putting lives of other motorists at risk.
While there's been a massive focus on trucks, there's also an elephant in the room: how children get to and from school. This is the most common method here.
We believe that those that are transported by van moving, even though it is not 5 kilometers apart, but there is a need of regulation, because now you find, like in this case of this current accident, wherein 20 learners were found in one vehicle. That on its own makes the scenario very much worse, because a lot of people died at once.
The KZN Education Department acknowledges it provides just over half of the required scholar transport in the province due to budget constraints. That's for children who have to make a 10-kilometer return trip each day.
We need to find out why parents will then choose not to take their kids to schools that are closer to them. But also, I think as parents, we also need to take serious responsibility in terms of how we transport our kids. because it is then becomes a responsibility to make sure that the transport that you use to transport your kids, if your child, if you choose to take that child to a different school than the school next to you, you must then be able to take responsibility on what form of transport do you use, what condition of that transport. This is a strategy, and that's why I'm saying we will want to be sensitive instead of looking at the transport issues.
Azikho iningi ikolo eduzane la. Kodwa ke amavene wona siwaprefere ngokuthi ayinto ebakhona ukuthi mayethatha ingane zesikole athatha ingane zesikole. Angeke efane ne-taxi ukuthi i-taxi isazophinda futhi iyothawotha umntwana aze agcine late esikolweni. Kodwa nje khona akusiko ukuthi siyathanda la emavenini. Ugcina sowuphoqwa yisisimo ukuthi iveni uyibona kuyinto engcono ngemali, kuyinto engcono futhi ezobhekana nalomntwana kuphela, hayi ukuthi iphinde yokwenza omunye umsebenzi futhi.
While authorities scramble and meetings and investigations continue, the victims' families are left with only memories.
Nginabantwana abawu-5 kodwa yena beka different. Uzokubuza lo yamntwana ebenezinto zakhe nje ezihlukile ezingafani nezinye ingane. Ngoba noma sigcinana wangicela la ngaphandle mama, ngicela ungishuthe isithombe sokugcina ozohamba naso uye eGoli. Oh, hayi Nkosi yami, ngizizwa nje ngisele ngilula kulo yamntwana. Ngisele ngilula, ngisele ngathi anginazo ezinye ingane zona nginazo. Kodwa kuloyana kufana nokuthi uhambe nayo yonke injabulo benginayo ngomntwana. Umntwana wami bekayithandela ukudansa. Bekathanda ukuya esikolweni kodwa angeke azaye uma ungamnikanga imali. Angithanda ukuyikhumbula ezinye izinto zakhe zasesayidini. Kuningi ngabe ngiyakusho ngaye kodwa angithanda ukukhumbula ngalo nto. Bekayihlana ayibona iphayile, ayibona athi mina ngiyi-firefight mama. Lekhathi ubhude ipilot mina ngizoba i-firefight kodwa lihlale ehostel. Mangale ukuthi khona i-firefight engahlala ehostel.
Dasen Thathiah, in Pongola, KwaZulu-Natal.
Such a devastating story. It's just really heartbreaking.